Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill in my eyebrows. I'm just gonna go ahead and use a black shadow because I wanted my eyebrows super dark and black for this look. So I took a plain black shadow and I started filling those in. My brows are probably what take me the longest to do when I'm doing makeup. Actually, I'm lying, they don't take me the longest, but they take me probably like the second longest depending on what kind of eyeshadow look I'm doing. So they're either the longest thing or the second longest, depending on what I'm doing that day. But they do take me quite a long time. So I'm just putting those in with a black shadow very quickly. And to set those in place, I'm taking the eyebrow gel from Anastasia Beverly Hills and I'm just sweeping that through my brows. I'm gonna go ahead and prime my face really quickly. I'm taking the oil primer from Smashbox. I'm just gonna be rubbing that in. I normally do this before I put on my concealer or my eye primer, which is the e.l.f. one that I'm gonna be using today. But I normally try to prime my skin first, just so that way the primer can have a chance to settle into the skin before I go in with my foundation. So with that primer, or sorry, with that concealer, I'm going to prime my eyelids and also carve out my brows. I first take a really small brush to carve out my brows, and then in a second I take my sponge to blend out the rest of the concealer on my eye. And now taking this palette from BH Cosmetics, I'm going to take the matte gray shade and I'm going to sweep that and blend that all over my eyelid. I'm just going to build that up until it's as opaque as I would like it to be. I also really wanted the inner portion of my eye where my eyebrow begins to be super dark. So I go in back into that same palette and I just focus in all those gray shades. They're a bit shimmery, but I didn't mind it. I just took a mixture of all of them and I just kind of put that in that area. I stamped it in there and then I kind of like swept it in. So that's what I'm doing there. And then I decided to take that same black shadow I used for my eyebrows and smudge out my lash line. To be honest with you though, this step is totally unnecessary because I decided to go in with liner after. I used the NYX Epic Ink liner, which is probably my new favorite liner, and I'm just basically making a wing, nothing too special with it. So I totally could have skipped that black shadow because it was like unnecessary pretty much. So once I was done with my wing, I decided to take some more black shadow and again focus that in that inner corner of my eyelid just to deepen it up a little bit more. Sorry, I'm so blind. I decided not to wear my contacts because I'm out of contact solution. So I'm doing this all pretty much blind. After that, I'm going to go in with my foundation. I'm using the Milani 2-in-1 Perfect or Conceal and Perfect foundation. And I threw this part in here because I feel like it's pretty satisfying to watch the complexion kind of, you know, disappear, that redness go away. I don't know why, I just find it kind of satisfying to watch foundation being blended out onto the skin. So if you do too, then I threw in this clip for you. And I feel like I wanted more coverage too, so I took this setting spray, this dewy setting spray from e.l.f. I sprayed my sponge with that and then I went in just with a little bit more foundation, just pretty much in the center of my face. And then I went really heavy-handed with the concealer. Again, this is the e.l.f. concealer that we used before. This is their Camel concealer. If you see me making weird faces like that, it's only because I was listening to a true crime podcast, and the case I was listening to was really crazy. So if you see me making faces, it's because I can't believe what I was hearing. And in case you're wondering, this sponge is actually a Wet n Wild sponge. It's super inexpensive and it's one of my favorites. I actually need a new one because mine is so crusty. It needs to be replaced. But I love it so much I can't get myself to throw it away. You know what I'm saying? So to set everything, I go in with the Too Faced Ethereal Powder, and I'm just pretty much setting that with my sponge because I like the way it makes the finish of my skin look. So I'm going in with that, I'm setting my face, and then I will go back in with some spray and spray it just to let it all sink in. And so now for under the eyes, I'm going to take that same matte gray shadow and I'm going to smoke that underneath my lashes and kind of bring it onto my cheekbones for some reason. I'm not sure what I was going for. At the time I wasn't sure what I was going for. I'm still not even sure what I was going for with that, but I did it anyway, and so that's why. Now I'm going to take the Wet n Wild Reservoir Cabana bronzer, and it has a really pretty sheen to it, so occasionally I will kind of dust that on my face just for a little bit of like a glow from within type of look. And then with that same black shadow, I am taking that on a little smaller brush and I'm focusing that on the outer end of my under lash line, I guess. And then with the NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk, I'm going to line my waterline. And then I took the Anastasia contour kit and I'm just going to chisel out my cheekbones. And you also gotta wind and blend. Okay, make sure you wind and blend if you're 21 and over. I'm gonna take a fluffier brush and just that same color, I'm going to go under my jawline. And I'm also going to contour my nose with that same color. This next step, I don't normally do often, but I wanted everything, at least like my contour, to be super dramatic. So I take some more powder and I'm pretty much like baking the sides of my nose. And I also run that underneath my contour just to kind of make sure everything, you know, like pops. It was super prominent, I guess. I never ever do this. I don't, you know, and I don't know. So now I'm taking bold face makeup lashes and Go Big or Go Home, and I am applying those. They're so beautiful. Now I'm taking the Texas Made shadow from the ABH and Melissa Edwards palette, and I'm running that along right in the center of my face across my nose. And I do also run it underneath my nose as well. And I'm just going to take a bigger brush to help blend it out a little bit more. Now I'm taking that same matte gray shadow and I'm putting that in the center as well, just for a little bit more depth. So taking that same, oh I'm sorry, I also put that underneath my nose. So taking that gray shadow and on a smaller brush, I'm going to put that like right in the middle of the little, I don't know, I don't even know how you call this line that we made. I'm not even sure what it's called. But I'm just gonna put a little bit of black and then blend it out. And I do go back in with some more pink there. So this part was so hard to film, like I said, because I am blind at this moment, and so a lot of the times the mirror was in the way of the camera. So I tried to put in as many clips as I could of me getting me make this barbed wire effect, but basically with that NYX Epic ink liner, I made kind of like a I don't know how to explain it, but like two squiggly lines kind of like intertwining with each other, and then in between each of the sections of the lines that met, I started making little lines. I would make one right in the middle, and then on each side I would kind of make it look like a sharp edge was coming out, if that makes any sense. I was hoping that I would just be able to let you guys know it's easier to watch instead of me explaining, and then it turns out I didn't even get that many good clips of me doing this because my mirror was in the way half the time. So I'm sorry about that, but I hope that made sense. This was my first time ever doing this too, so I was kind of surprised with myself at how well it came out. I had myself a little bit shook, I'm not gonna lie. So now what I'm doing is, again, I'm using the NYX Jumbo Milk Pencil, and I put that on a little brush, and now I'm just kind of like making little highlight points at random spots on the black. I feel like it really just made that whole barbed wire effect come together really nicely. So now I'm taking this why do I keep saying that? So I'm taking the NYX Matte Lipcream. I don't even know what shade this is. It's so old and it's dried out. I started off with this shade, and then I blended it out with my finger, but I feel like it just wasn't what I was going for. In hindsight now, it doesn't look that bad. So after that I took the NYX Lip Suede. This is the shade Pink Lust. I put that on the perimeter of my mouth, and then I started to blend that in, thinking that it was going to look a little bit darker than the first shade, but they kind of looked almost the same. And then I decided that I wanted my lips to look blurred out, so I got that same blending brush that we used for the pink across the nose, and I started blending out the edges around my lips just for a really smoked and blown out effect. And I got really distracted because my cousin showed up, and so I forgot to show it, but what I did was I used the Lime Crime Velveteen in Cement, and I put that on my lips and I started to blend that out, but it kind of got dry on me for a sec. And there's my cousin making an appearance. So now I'm taking the Wet n Wild Eerie Onyx lipstick, and I'm dabbing that right in the center, and I'm blending it out with my finger. So now I decided to take some glitter. I'm using the NYX glitter primer and some random craft glitter from Target. I'm using craft glitter because since I'm not doing it like on my actual eyelid, I figured it would be okay. I also off camera did add bottom lashes, which after adding the glitter didn't really make any difference because it kind of the glitter kind of blended in with the glitter. So you can definitely skip that part. I also added these black little dots on the middle of my middle of my lower lash line. Again, unnecessary, but I don't know why, it was just extra thing that I did. And then for highlights, I went in with the BH Cosmetics and Carly Bible palette. This is probably my favorite highlight of all time. It's so gorgeous. Like, look at that reflection. Look at that. And then on the nose, watch it, watch it. Oh my gosh, it's just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I tried to, look at my blind ass. I tried to highlight too, but I already had the glitter, so it was really hard for me to do it. But anyways, that's pretty much it for this look. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!